Hey, what's going on, guys? It's me here, Breathing Jet, back in the video. And if you notice, the gameplay footage behind me looks a little bit different. This is not the same style video that I've done the past couple times. This is footage of the first mission from the Final Shape expansion DLC of Destiny 2. I have to say it. I'm addicted. I'm addicted. I haven't played Destiny since 2017. That is when Destiny 2 was released. At that time, the max light level was 300, and the endgame content was a Leviathan raid. That was 7 years ago. I put in a lot of time. I played a lot of Destiny 1, went through all the raids there, constantly waited for weekly resets, just grinded it out. That was a different time. I was back in high school, so I had a lot more free time. Destiny 2 came out, paid $60, was so excited for it, played through it, but I put so much time into it that I kind of had to take a step back. I wouldn't say the addiction went too far. It was just, it's a lot of time. Destiny takes a lot of time, and it's a lot of grinding. So I had to take a step back. Did I expect a 7 year hiatus? No. No. But my friend, he got back into the game because he stopped for a while. Not nearly as long. Not nearly. He stopped for like 7, 8 months. I stopped for 7 years. But he started playing and he was explaining it to me, and I went, huh. It put that seed in my mind. I was like, it's free to play now too. Because when I bought the game originally, I bought it for Xbox. But now I'm on PC for the most part. And I'm like, oh boy, it's free to play. I can install it and try it. But I was looking up online. I was like, all right, what are the free to play players actually like? What can they do? And looking at multiple sources, not a lot. A lot of people described it as free to try, not really free to play, because how fast you get locked. The amount of things you can't do is egregious. So I was like, all right. This was like 2, 3 days before the final shape came out. I was like, all right, I might buy it. And luckily with Destiny, whenever a new expansion comes out, all the previous ones go on sale. So there was a massive sale. So I bought The Forsaken. Come to learn that was a mistake because they took most of the content out of the game for that. Kind of sad. Shadowkeep, Beyond Light, Witch Queen, Lightfall, and then I bought the Final Shape. So in total, it was I had a gift card, so it came out to like $55, $56 of my own money for all the DLC with the sale. So was I upset that I was getting like 6 years worth of content for that money? I'm like, no. I have some catching up to do. I have my times cut out for me. But since then, we've had a little bit of a jump, a little bit of a content change. So a big thing that was introduced was sunsetting. I I was not part of the game whenever it happened, but with the Final Sheep DLC coming out, they did away with it. So what sunsetting was legacy gear from like previous expansions and stuff. They'd get light level locked. So, for example, for like the Forsaken, the max power was 600. So you get gear that's like 600. And the next expansion came out, which I believe was Shadowkeep, and the gear was light locked at 600. So that gear was essentially like useless. So you were not able to continually build off of a class. You have to get new gear for the new expansion and stuff like that. But like I said, with the release of the final shape, they did away with it, which I think is fantastic. Especially as a returning player who hasn't played in 7 years, getting most of the DLC, I should say. This allows me to and the rest of the players in the community to have 6 or 7 years worth of guns and armor now being able to be used and brought up to the new light level max of 2020, excuse me, and they're usable again. It opens the door for what possible combinations and loadouts are possible. And I think it's fantastic. I think it was a great idea. I don't think sunsetting was a good idea to begin with. Looking at it from an outside perspective, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Because everyone knows Destiny does not. Their DLC is not cheap, is what I'm going to say. You feel like you're almost buying almost worth another game. Like the Final Shape expansion, It's a fantastic expansion. Love the story. Love the new area, the Pale Heart. Love it all. I think it's fantastic. One of the from the expansions I played, it's one of my favorite, if not my favorite. But it was $50. That's not cheap. That's almost another game. I get it nowadays. New games are like 70 instead of 60, but still, $50 is a lot for an expansion. Especially growing up, our expansions for like, especially like Call of Duty was popular. It was like $20 map pack. But I do have to hand it to them. The creative team at Bungie, behind the team of Destiny, cutscenes fantastic. The visuals of the whole game fantastic. It's great. I'm really enjoying it. Another big thing that apparently was going on, I got to miss this period. So apparently Xur used to function off of legendary shards. Back when I played Destiny, it was strange coins. So seeing that with the final shape expansion, that strange coins were returning and legendary shards were going bye bye, I it didn't bother me, to be honest. It didn't bother me because I never experienced the legendary shards. All I knew was strange coins, so I was like, all right, great. I know this. I know this. So that was great. I am kind of sad. It does make me a little upset that he doesn't move around anymore. He's kind of just stuck at the new tower. That's I don't know. It was always a little fun trying to find where he was on the reset. But now we also have the introduction to two or three subclasses technically. You have Stasis, you have Strand, and you have Prismatic now. Which Prismatic, awesome. You're never gonna catch me switching back to just a regular subclass. Prismatic is it's staying for me. I don't care how much they nerf it. Having Transcendence is like a second mini super. It's like a second mini super. It's what it is. So it's here to stay. And the effects whenever you're transcended is it doesn't make sense not to, because it also kind of culminates all the best abilities from each of the different classes or the subclasses into it. So you have like the five main grenades for each of the subclasses. Same with the artifacts. You get the main artifacts. So you can have Hellion and Devour on your class, which are fantastic combos. So I think that's my favorite out of the bunch. I will say, the final boss, the Callus final boss for the Witch Queen DLC, made me want to put my head through a wall. Strand is cool and all. Terrible mission. I hated it. That boss fight, trying to swing around on that stupid grapple, and the amount of places you can fall, and you're just getting beat by a Tormentor, by Cal. I will say, with the final shape expansion, Tormentors and Subjugators, they play a big role in the story. I understand. From a lore standpoint, they make sense. My standpoint, I fucking hate them. They are terrible. It's not that they're bad enemies, like they're designed poorly. They're just really annoying to face, in my opinion. Really annoying. And the suppression that the Tormentors give, and they take away all your abilities, and those suckers can move quick. They can move pretty darn fast, I have to say. So whenever he's running at me and I'm trying to run away, he suppresses me, and I can't use any abilities to get away. Yeah, what am I gonna do there? I gotta shoot his shoulders before I can shoot his chest, and then he's enraged, and then he's chasing after me. Or the Strand Subjugator, whenever they fucking sling you up and you're stuck up in the air, we're like, well, like in caught in a spiderweb, I'm not going anywhere. But I don't want this video to take up too much time. I just wanted to give my experience and my personal perspective on Destiny nowadays. I still think the Crucible's ass. Destiny, you and the people at Bungie, I think you should get rid of the Crucible. That's my opinion. I don't like the Crucible. Trials is cool, but Crucible, it doesn't work in my opinion. I get it. People like PvP. People enjoy an aspect of PvP. Now, I mean, I feel like it doesn't feel as smooth as regular gameplay. I always feel like hit detection's a little off. I feel like the servers aren't at a high like latency. Like the tick rate's bad on them. So I feel like I'll shoot and then it's like a millisecond or two before the hit registers and it takes health away. It's not up to par with other PvP games in today's world of gaming. And I don't know. I do my weekly reset. I go into the Crucible, and I hate it because I also don't know. Being away from Destiny so long, I forgot a lot of the initial perks and what perks and stuff you want in your guns and armor. And there's a very big difference between roles that you want for PVE and what you want for PvP. PVE, I can kind of understand. I still remember some. The description is self-explanatory, but when it comes to PvP, I'm lost. I am lost. I can't even lie to you. So get it out. I don't want it. Terrible, poorly made. Yeah, not for me. But again, that's just my opinion. But as it stands right now, I am actually loving the game. It was really refreshing. I guess the break really kind of reset everything in my mind for what I knew about Destiny. Like coming back, I had to relearn things. Plus, I was a lot younger when it was like Destiny 1 was the height and Destiny 2 just came out. Like, for some reason, back in my mind, I thought of Nightfall and I went, oh my god, those things are hard. I gotta prepare a little bit. I gotta make sure I got friends who can communicate everything like that. Nope. Nope. Not at all. Play through the regular Nightfall. I'm like, okay, this is just like a strike. There's nothing. Oh, also, I almost forgot to mention this is the addition of the Fire Team Finder. I think that's an interesting addition to the game. I don't know why it took them so long to introduce it. Like, 10 years long, going back to even Destiny 1. You don't know how much time me and my friends spent on LFGs, like, and putting in, we need a Warlock, and then minimum light levels and shit like that. And then waiting for responses. And it was like a mini interview every time you wanted people to play with, especially when doing raids. It was something. But now with the Fireteam Finder, I think people are still kind of on and off about how that is. I see people that are like doing videos of doing raid with only Fireteam Finder and stuff like that, or Trials of Osiris through Fireteam Finder, getting carried through that, getting to the lighthouse. So it's like, okay. But overall, I'm loving the game. I have minuscule complaints uh, as of now. I do think Destiny overall, their whole business model over the years has changed. It's a little microtransaction now. Like there was no season pass or anything like that back whenever I left, or there might have been, and they didn't just push it in your face. If you don't have the newest DLC and you are trying to do anything, you'll get an advertisement every now and then pushing the new DLC in your face, and that's a little off-putting, especially for how big the company is. I know the way of the world in gaming is microtransactions and stuff like that. Nobody likes it except for the companies themselves because it's making them money. Nobody else enjoys it. I can tell you that. But it's it's the way of the world. I guess they're doing it a decent way. You can level up through the season pass pretty quickly, but not having it's not that big a deal. Like for if you buy the season pass, you get the Red Death Reformed tier 1. If not, I think it's like tier 20 of the free. So you're not missing out on some of the good gear that's in it. You are just halted. You have to put a little bit more time in, which I think that's a decent model. You're not completely locked out, and it's not fully pay to win. There it is in some aspects, but it's not fully. But again, this is just my perspective and my overall experience. Returning to Destiny 2 after 7 years, which is a long time. When I think, but when 7 years ago, I wasn't even done with high school. I wasn't done with high school, so that's kind of sets in for me of how long ago it truly was. So I think they made some great additions to the game. It seems like with the final shape, they fixed a lot of issues, like major issues that people had with Destiny as a whole. So I'm excited to see where we go. I heard that this is like the last actual expansion, and now it's just going to be like the echoes and episodes for like minute stories and stuff like that. So it's interesting where we go from here. If we're going to get a new Destiny 3 game coming out, because now that the addiction has restarted itself, I will probably indulge in getting it as well. I wonder what they'll do with that. If they'll try to keep it as a free to play model, and you just pay for each expansion, or $70. I if I swear if they do $70 and then make it free to play like they did with Destiny 2, and they convert over eventually, I'm gonna be a little annoyed. I still think we should get some sort of back pay for us who paid for the game initially 7 years ago. That's all I'm saying. Give us a shader, give us an emote, give us something. But I hope you guys enjoyed this small perspective video. Hopefully there will be more Destiny 2 videos to come, so stay tuned for that. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.